This week, I want to talk about judgment. It's a big piece of what stands in our way of getting a grip, being on top of our game, being content with our lives. I used to say to just be. And judgment stands in the way of that. It stands in the way of us feeling like life is worth living, that things are great, and they are great. Don't you ever kid yourself. They are definitely great. But judgment stands in the way of that. Judgment is a way to control, right? We use it as a sense of control, but in reality, it isn't. And control, although I'm an expert at control because I am a control person, I work daily not to do that because we want to live life more fluidly. And experience things as they come along and enjoy them. But when we're trying to get a sense of control and we're judging everything, that removes that. And judgment eats up a lot of our cognitive energy. I read somewhere that we spend 98% of our time um, justifying our opinion. Can you imagine? So if I'm doing that and it's 98% of the time, good grief, right? So let's stop doing that. And then we gain 98% of our time to do something else, which is wonderful. So judgment stops you from seeing things clearly as well. It gives you this sense of things are good or bad. It's the all or nothing thinking, and that's not true. And judging really affects how we come across to other people. If we're always judging things and putting a judgment on everyone and everything, then people will start to realize we're probably doing that to them as well. And when we judge, we usually are doing it because we don't feel good about what we're doing. So we put the judgment on other people for the same reason. Now, if we could get rid of that idea of judging, we would be far happier and more relaxed. So I like to call it labeling rather than judging. So if we label something, we leave room for analysis. But if we're judging, it's a final statement. So labeling, and when I label something, like it's a book that I really didn't like, I hated that book, I can say, that's a book that I read and it didn't meet my needs. That's labeling, not judging it as good or bad or right or wrong or whatever. That's it. It opens up other possibilities by labeling. And then judgment also removes our ability to have empathy or compassion for anything because we're judging it already and we're not looking for reasons for why it happened that way. So when we're judging someone, let's say somebody who cut us off on the road, I always like using that because immediate response is, what a jerk. Well, you don't know that person. You have no idea who they are. But since you judge them, you put that judgment on them, then you removed any possibility for you to be empathetic to them at all. I really resonate with this, with the modern climate today, in that everybody is judging without really knowing the behind the scenes circumstances. And it is an easy way to do it. It makes you feel like, okay, I've got that handled, that control thing, but it's not really true. And don't we want to remain open to the possibilities of what is true? Maybe people are doing the best that they can at the moment. Have you ever thought that thought? See, that removes judgment. It allows for empathy and different ideas to slip into our minds. So judgment generally happens when we're out of control. I've noticed this with myself and with many others. So if your life isn't in order, right, and you get frustrated and things are more difficult because you're not organized, then you don't want to label yourself, so you label everyone else because of that frustration and that disorganization that you're suffering from. So I always say start small. Pick like the drawer in the bathroom that you use every day and get it organized with minimal things, like only the things you use each and every day. You can store the rest somewhere else, but just start with that and see how much freedom that gains you. So in my drawer, I have my face lotions, my toothbrush and toothpaste. I have my contacts. I have some medications that I use on a daily basis, and that's it. That's all that's there, because I don't need the rest of that stuff to have to sift through it all the time. The other thing that I've always done is have a work bag. So the work bag has the stuff that I have to take home. So I'll take the work out from the work bag, and then I'll work on it, and then I'll put it right back into it because I don't want to lose anything. And that has saved me over the years, that process, doing it all the time and faithfully doing it. Because, one time I lost my keys in my house, right? And I found them in this decorative, old-fashioned laundry basket that was next to the bowl that we put keys in. Well, I accidentally dropped the keys in it. It took me a week to find those keys, and I finally thought, oh, well, maybe I should look in that basket, and lo and behold, it's down in the bottom of that basket. And, that sort of thing, not having that routine of always making sure I put my keys in the bowl, because I've also found my keys in the refrigerator a couple of times. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, but true. So I am one for really focusing in on being organized, because it does help. The other thing I do is I hang all my clothes except for underwear and socks. I hang all my clothes so I can see all of them. And then if I need to get rid of some because I have too many t-shirts or something like that, or too many pairs of jeans, I can do that because they're all in front of me and I don't need that many. And every excess that you have takes up cognitive energy, which then causes you to feel the need to judge others or yourself, which isn't good. We don't want that. So that's what I recommend. Have a morning routine. That's a good thing to have. An evening routine, that's also a good thing to have. And then a weekend routine. And so you're always doing the same thing, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every day. I use a dry erase marker on my bathroom mirror to write things that I have to remember, or scheduled things that I want to make sure that I've done each day. I just write them to the side on my bathroom mirror. Works great. And then you can erase it as you go along. Fabulous. And then you feel more in control and less need to judge. So I want you to try not judging. Now, I'm not going to say this is easy, because it isn't. But I want you to try 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds. You're not judging anything. The way something looks, or the way you're doing it, or it's hot or cold, or whatever. No judgment of any kind. And then, because that might be easy, I want you to work up to 1 minute. And I'm not talking about doing this while you're all alone, because that's pretty darn easy, right? I mean, we're perfect, aren't we? Well, we sit with ourselves. But I want you to do this maybe when you're at the grocery store, or perhaps while you're driving down the road. My favorite one is, somebody cuts you off on the road and you immediately think, what a jerk. Well, that's not necessarily true. You don't know those people. So giving pause and some room for other ideas to seep in takes non-judgment. Now, once you make it to a minute, you can make it to 5. And once you've made it to 5, you can do it for long periods of time. And you'll notice that it really lifts your mood and you feel far more in control and far better about your life. And isn't that what we're after with Get a Grip? Yeah, that's what we're after. So I want you to like my channel and subscribe to it if you possibly could. And then could you possibly share it as well? Because that's the way I spread the message. And I want to help people. And that's what this is all about. So we can help them together by you doing that. All right. I hope you try the non-judgment this week. See how it goes. And then if you haven't taken my class, please do. And then let me know what you think. And if you want to ever talk through some of the ideas, I'm open. You can always email me, thinkgetagrip.com or thinkgetagrip@gmail.com. And let me know what you think. All right? Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.